I'm Luke Summerhays, and I love Roaring Moon. Dragons exist in cultures all over the world, dominating myth in Europe and Asia. Dragons can vary a lot, but some form of hybrid creature with primarily reptilian features is a primary monster in most major mythical bestiaries, whether granting wishes, being slain by saints and knights, or demanding human sacrifice and being worshipped as gods. Several theories exist, seeking to explain the almost unanimous prevalence of dragons. Perhaps the Proto-Indo-European culture is to blame, a pre-ancient set of myths and languages back to whom almost all the cultures of the world can trace some part of their origin. Perhaps dragons come from an innate instinctual human fear of serpents. One of my favourite theories is that similar stories of dragons and large serpents emerged all over the world because cultures all over the world encountered dinosaur fossils. Indeed, historically in China, fossils were called dragon bones, and even used as ingredients in medicines. Roaring Moon is a large dragon and dark type Pokemon, with crescent-shaped wings and powerful clawed forearms, bristling with spikes and sharp feathers. It is reminiscent of Salamence, the Gen 3 pseudo-legendary dragon, and in particular, the shape of its wings resembles Mega Salamence. Several Mega Pokemon had Pokedex entries suggesting the Mega Evolution was the Pokemon returning to some prehistoric ancestor, or true form. This wasn't the case with Salamence, for whom wings were explicitly described as a recent mutation, but Roaring Moon may suggest a connection between Mega Salamence and an ancient ancestor. Pokemon Scarlet tells us, "It is possible that this is the creature listed as Roaring Moon in an expedition journal that still holds many mysteries." And Pokemon Violet tells us, "According to an article in a dubious magazine, this Pokemon has some connection to a phenomenon that occurs in a certain region." That phenomenon, of course, is Mega Evolution, and we can read this magazine. Roaring Moon, a primeval salamence? This elusive creature is called Roaring Moon, after a similarly described being in the Scarlet Book. It looks similar to Salamence when they undergo a certain phenomenon elsewhere in the world, but it's unclear if there is any connection. This creature scatters feathers as it flies around at high speeds, seeking prey. It's thought to be more savage than Salamence, and if you should encounter one, it's imperative that you avoid actual contact. That warning is wise, as Roaring Moon has had a great competitive career so far, with only Baxcalibur giving it a run as most threatening dragon Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. Roaring Moon's feathers make it seem like a modern depiction of a feathered dinosaur, perhaps giving credence to the idea that dinosaur fossils are related to dragons, at least in the Pokemon world. Music for Luke Loves Pokemon is composed by Jonathan Cromie. Artwork for the show is by Katie Groves. Writing, producing, and editing is by me, Luke Summerhays, while funding is provided by lovely listeners at patreon.com/podcastiopodcastius. We'll be taking a week off for the new year, but next up are Iron Valiant and Koraidon, so if you have thoughts about those or any other monsters, hit me up with a DM or an email to lukelovespkmn@gmail.com. If you like this podcast, please rate and review wherever you're listening, or tell a friend. And if you want to hear more Pokemon chatter from me, come by twitch.tv/lukelovespkmn, most Saturday nights from 9 PM UK time. Even if you don't feel like doing any of that, thank you so much just for listening. I love Roaring Moon. And remember, I love you too.